I welcome you all to Press Information Bureau's webinar on cybersecurity. Our topic for today's webinar is how to stay safe online. The internet has provided us with quick access to everything while being seated in one location. Every imaginable thing that one can think of can be done through the medium of internet. And that includes social networking, online shopping, financial transactions, data storage, gaming, online schooling, and online jobs. The internet is used in nearly all aspects of our life. Undoubtedly, internet has made our life easier. But there is another side to the story. With easy access of internet, cybercrimes have also increased, as we all know. As the internet and its associated advantages grew in popularity, so did the notion of cybercrime. Different type of cybercrimes have evolved with the increasing in dependency on the internet. Identity theft, theft of proprietary and personal information, phishing, hacker intrusion, unauthorized access, internet time theft, cyber stalking, dark web, cyber pornography are some phrases we all have become acquainted with, mostly from reading about it in news every other day. Many in our country and in the world have been victims of cybercrimes, as we all know. In fact, yesterday I read a news article where a Mangaluru doctor has been victim of cybercrime and he has been duped of around 2 lakh rupees. Another news this week said Orissa crime branch arrests three for selling mobile numbers to cyber criminals. Common citizens are aware that cyber crimes are taking place in various forms, but they don't have proper information about how to remain guarded against cyber crimes. So, with the aim of disseminating information to the citizens about all the do's and don'ts of remaining safe while traversing and exploring through the World Wide Web and across various domains of the internet, and educating common citizens on cyber crimes, today, Press Information Bureau under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has organized this webinar on cybersecurity. The topic of discussion, as I've already informed, is how to stay safe online. Like PIB always does, and PIB, as you all know, that PIB always takes a lot of initiatives to provide authentic information from the domain experts. Today, also, we have with us a few experts from the world of cybersecurity and a few officers of crime branch um, who will be giving us information, making us aware, and also answer your queries if you have any. So on cyber crimes, okay. So first, I would request Mr. Vinod Kumar, Joint Director, Press Information Bureau, Goa, to deliver the welcome address and set the tone for the webinar. So,
Thank you, Sriyanka. The most powerful quantum computer just got an upgrade, and it might be the big news for the artificial intelligence and cryptography community. And do you know who revealed it to the world? None other than Elon Musk. Quantum AI is an upgrade from the computers as you know them. In fact, Elon Musk beat IBM, Microsoft, and few others who are developing this form of computing for years to the punch. It's just not a supercomputer, it's a hypercomputer on steroids. This is a session on cybersecurity. So why I'm talking about quantum computers? In fact, we have advanced a long way from the traditional binary mode of computing, from the Turing algorithm to the latest qubit-involved technology of quantum, using esoteric quantum principles. The world as we know, the encryption that we use in our daily mobile phones, WhatsApp, is based on a technology called public key cryptography. This is the fundamental basis for all kind of security that we see in our internet world. Quantum computers, which is latest development, if if it is if it is connected with a powerful software called Shor's algorithm, can break any public key cryptography that is in existence now. We share information across the internet using this public key cryptography so that the message that we are sending from one end to the another end is always safe till it reaches the other end. But once quantum computers shakes hand with Shor's algorithm, internet as we know will be in ruins. So is a world doomed for them? No, because the quantum technology which is powerful enough to execute Shor's algorithm is at least 1 or 2 decades away. Till then, we have to take care of ourselves. How do we take care of ourselves? You have seen that many times there are scams happening across the internet space. Popular apps like OLX, popular shopping websites, financial websites like your online banking. You keep on seeing that scams keep on happening. Last year, there were 1.4 million incidents of cybersecurity breaches. This year, in 2022, we had almost 2 lakh incidents till this May. So how do we counter this? India government is always in constant vigil, and we have a robust cybersecurity architecture that deals with these kind of cyber breaches. So in this particular webinar, we are going to showcase to you how these breaches happen, how you can protect yourself from these cyber criminals who is hidden behind the dark web. The Indian Computer Emergency Response Team serves as a national nodal agency for performing various functions in the area of cybersecurity in the country as per the provisions of the Section 70B of the Information Technology Act. CERT in continuously analyzes cyber threat and handles various cyber incidents tracked and reported to it. Latest in April 28th, CERT had come with a notification saying that any service provider, intermediary, or a data center, a body corporate, or a government organization shall mandatorily report cyber incidents to the CERT within 6 hours of noticing such incident. As you can see in the scroll below, this incident has to be reported in this particular email, and the facts and the phone number has been given. So please be rest assured that in this webinar we have got 2 eminent and very senior IPS officers who can guide you through the legal pathways if you are a victim, and who will guide you how to prevent yourself from being a victim. And we have a cybersecurity architect from Ernst and Young, Mr. Ramesh Babu, who will guide you how these cyber threats are happening in the real world and what you can do to prevent them. Thank you, Shrinka. Over to you.
Thank you, sir, for setting the tone of the webinar. Now, as Vinod Kumar sir has already introduced and told you about our experts who will be speaking on the topic of how to stay safe online, I would like to give a more detailed introduction of our expert speakers of the day. We have 3 experts today who will guide us and make us aware about the cyber world and the cyber crimes that are taking place and how to stay safe online. So we have with us Nidhin Balsan, IPS officer of 2012 batch. Nidhin Balsan has worked as ACP and DCP in Delhi Police from 2015 to 2017. Earlier, he was Superintendent of Police in Lakshadweep, and presently he is working as the Superintendent of Police, General Administration in Goa. Welcome to our webinar, sir. Our second expert of the day is Mr. Ramesh Babu. He's a cyber security architect, manager in Ernst & Young, having 14 plus years of experience in cybersecurity, assisting global organizations to protect their network, client data, and intellectual properties in cyberspace. He would be telling us about all the nitty-gritties of staying safe online. Welcome to you too, sir. Our third expert of the day is another IPS officer, Mr. Shobhit Saxena, IPS officer of 2015 batch. He is currently posted as Superintendent of Police in North Goa district, and he's also in charge of crime department. He is Superintendent of Police and Crime Branch. He has recently started the Cyber Forensics Lab in Goa. Goa Police has the distinction of one of the highest detection rates of cybercrime in the country. So we have a very, very able officer. We have 2 very able officers who will be guiding us about cyber crimes which are taking place. And we also have a an architect, a cybersecurity architect. Welcome to you, Shobhit sir, also. So now I would invite Nidhin Balsan, IPS officer, to give us a brief introduction about the world of cyber crimes and also guide us about how to stay safe online. Over to you, Nidhin Balsan, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. As per Government of India data, there are 622 million online users in India. It's more than 50% of the population of the country who are online. And there will be still more people who have not come under these numbers. Once we are online, we are not alone in the private space of ours. We are connected to the world. We are sharing information, we are receiving information. And we don't know who is taking our information and whose information who is getting into our private space. That is where the relevance of cyber security comes into place. Everywhere, wherever there is an information explosion, there are people, there are mischievous minds who are always there to make wrong use of the platforms. There are a lot of fraudsters who are ready to cheat everyone to make money without even without the victim being aware like they have been cheated. These crimes are borderless and faceless. For example, if it's a normal crime, we will be knowing the area or the person who has committed the crime in most of the cases. But in cyber crimes, this person might be sitting somewhere in some remote part of any country in the world, and even it's possible that a person or individual is not doing it. It can be an automated computer program which are you are ciphering the money of your accounts. Moreover, nowadays is the period of social media. Almost every citizen or every person in this world has got mobile phones and they have got Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and everybody is sharing information. Most of the people are unaware, like whether is it safe to share this information. Because of the COVID pandemic and recent push for digital India, there has been an increase in cashless transactions. Everybody used to carry a purse with them. Now it's all in the mobiles. We have GPay, we have Beam apps, and we have online applications by which you can transfer money. So we are giving the control of our wallets to an application which sometimes might misuse the information and the details which you have shared with them. There is another very immense danger which has come to the cyber world. It is called cyber terrorism and cyber warfare. Since the traditional warfare is very economically taxing for the countries, the warring countries are using cyber warfare to create damage to the vital installations and online platforms of the country. In cyber terrorism, the money which has been gained through cyber crimes are used for terrorist activities. Though most of these are relevant to everyone, there is a particular section of people which are very vulnerable to the cyber crimes. Those are the youngsters and the children of our world. Without being aware, out of sheer ignorance, they might be sharing some of the information or pictures or videos which can really harm their futures. There is cyber engineering and social engineering tools which can manipulate the people. Some of the students get addicted to games and they might commit some harm to themselves. So it is very important we should have enough digital and financial literacy in the country among all the people as well as in the world to tackle these situations. In detail, the crimes, cyber crimes, are something which sometimes you are totally unaware that it has been committed to you. By the time we are aware, we won't be able to do anything. So, to tackle cybercrime, the most important thing is prevention than cure. We should be aware what are the some of the more cyber safe techniques which we have to use in our mobiles and laptops or in our online platforms before we share our information. Thank you.
You have all. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for explaining, giving us a very nice brief introduction to the world, to what happens in the world of cybercrime, and the importance of staying safe online. Okay, and how vulnerable people are in the online world. So you have already told us about the challenges we face in the online world. But now, if I would ask you to give us in a nutshell tell us in a nutshell what is the importance of cybersecurity. Nitin Balsan, sir.
Yeah. Nowadays, we all are linked with our mobile phones. Everywhere, wherever we are giving the information, initially we used to give our names and address. Now, we are giving our mail IDs, we are giving our phone numbers, we are giving our date of birth. These are information which are very private to us. Though mobile numbers cannot be considered as private because nowadays it's present ubiquitous everywhere. But when we are giving our mobile numbers or email IDs, we are in fact sharing something which are very, very private to us, to the people. And there are umpteen number of applications in the cyber world. There are umpteen number of programs. While we are connecting ourselves to the cloud or the internet, we are sharing our information, sharing our private data knowingly or unknowingly to the world. You all would have noticed while we are installing the applications in a hurry, we will just agree to whatever the terms and conditions the application shows to us. It will be in pages. We don't have the time to read these terms and conditions. We don't know what all we are sharing. We will be just agreeing and installing those applications. We will be linking our date of births. We will be linking our credit cards. We will be linking our bank accounts with lots of applications. Sometimes we might not be aware that our kids who are using the gaming platforms are also linking our credit cards for their uses. By the time the money is gone from the account, by the time we are aware like our information has been taken by some mischievous elements, we will be surprised to know that it has been already gone to the public domain. So, and there are a lot of other issues also in the cyber world which people are generally unaware. There are a lot of malwares, viruses, trojans, ransomwares, which can actually create problems in your private cyberspace. The the fraud, different types of frauds which happen in the cyber world. There are financial frauds. There are frauds which are emotionally taxing. There are phishing, where your identity or information are taken away by the criminals. Without out of sheer ignorance, there might be chances like you will be uploading some of your very private videos as well, and you will might be exposed to some contents not which are really not good for your physique, your psyche as well. And these problems are faced generally by the children. There up to 18 years of age, there are contents which they are supposed to see, and there sometimes they are exposed to some malicious contents. Moreover, there are chances like some copyright violations and patent violations which can happen over the cyber world. Another challenge which we face nowadays is using this cyber space for illegal smuggling of banned items. For example, there is something called dark web, which most of the people are unaware. In fact, they say 80% of the activities happen over the dark world. And dark world is the area where all sorts of mischievous and criminal activities happen. The dark world is used by terrorists. Dark web is used by so it's dark web. Dark web is used by terrorists. Dark web is used by drug peddlers. Dark webs are used by child pornography addicts. So these are many of the challenges. These are some of the challenges which I have said. There are many, many more challenges. And I reiterate, most important thing is like you must be aware of these things before you try to do something when something has happened to you.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Everyone must be aware of the things of the dark side of the cyber world, the cyber world. Like sir right now told about the dark net. So there are undoubtedly many risks which are associated. We unknowingly give out a lot of information to the cyber world. Those information may backfire anytime. So even if we are not a regular user, regular online person, but we should be aware of all the cyber risk, even if we are not a regular online user. Thanks a lot for taking us for making us understand in very plain words about all the risks that are associated. There are too many risks, and informing us. Thanks for informing our viewers about the risk that we should be aware of this risk that are associated with the cyber world. Now, I would request our expert, from our expert cyber architect, Mr. Ramesh Babu, to give us a presentation and tell us about how the cybersecurity is dealt with from an engineering point of view, from a technical point of view.
Okay. Thank you, Sriyanga. So I hope my slide is visible, right?
Yes, sir, your slide is visible.
Okay,
Please go
nice.
ahead.
Okay. So hi, good morning, everyone. We have uh, heard from our eminent personalities, cybercrime is really a big thing currently in the world, because it's very easy to commit these crimes. Like, you don't have to get out of your home. That the bad person don't have to get out of their home to commit these kind of crimes. So let's now discuss like how you can stay safe online and do your activities. So uh, so to f- uh, you know to be safe from the cyber criminals, you have to first understand uh, like how they work, and how it evolved from a simple cases where the people were trying to make things better, and then how they came to like, okay, fine, I can make money from it. How this progress from a simple hacking to a cracking. So let's go into these details, and then we'll come to know like how these kind of viruses, ransomwares, and all these things are developed to make money, and how we can protect ourselves and our dear ones from these cyber criminals. So the today's agenda, to keep it very simple, I have made it into three categories. The one is like to understand like why cyber security is important. And now obviously, if you want to protect against any enemies, you have to know your enemy. So we'll find out more about cyber criminals and how they deal with it, and also some technical aspects of how uh, our technology scientists have created the technology for the internet and its security. And then we'll come into how to you can defend yourself. So these are all the three categories, that brief categories for the agenda. Now let's go to the first one, like what why we need what is the importance of cybersecurity. So let's go to the history. Like so to be frank, this hack term, it was not actually a criminal term which was created. It actually meant, like, the people who are having very good knowledge on the things they are doing. And normally it started when a group of students in a college, they created this group wherein they can go and make some explore the stuff which has been created by another vendor, and make it little bit more convenient or user friendly, or bring more functionalities. And uh, this term hacker, at that point of time, it was kind of an badge of honor, you can say. Okay, but things changed a little bit when we came into this PC era. So from 1960s to 70s, it was more into let's make some stuffs, and let's kind of break some stuffs. But again, when you are breaking some stuffs, you actually are publishing it to everyone, so that they everyone knows that you are a bad guy, in kind of in that attitude. But all of this changed when more people during the PC era, which we say like 1980s, when PCs were a little bit more affordable and everyone started having the PC. So that time, these people, some of them, they understood, okay, fine, I can make some money also out of it. So they started pirating the softwares, creating viruses. But still, if you look at those era, most of the people were doing it just to for the bragging rights. Okay, I hacked Microsoft, or I hacked a US government department. So these were the things that were coming into that. When then in 1990s, a lot of the things started to change. Then came the term called crackers, who oh, that term itself was like, it was a really bad thing. So most of the people, they started doing bad stuff. And obviously during this time, the government also came up with, the US government, they came up with for cyber security law also, and they started arresting people during this time. And when come into the 2000s, more people were having the PCs, and internet was getting really popular around the world. And obviously the crackers, they or the hackers, you can say, they started to learn, like, I can make a lot of money using my the knowledge that I am having. And obviously they started victimizing the government institutes, big corporations and all. And during that time itself, the Microsoft also said, like, okay, I'm having a lot of issues with my computer, so means with my software. So let's make use of the good guys in that group, so that they can do kind of uh, hack, and let me know, and I will be giving the monetization. It's you can solve the bug bounty stuff that we started in 2000s. And come into 2010s, and really the things started to get really really bad, because most people and more people got into the internet. During early times, internet access was really expensive, not everyone could afford it, but there was a lot of disruption in the technology. Like in India, Geo came in, and everyone started getting internet for cheap price when you compare it with other world. So a lot of people came into the internet, and it was booming in all the developing countries as well, including India. So obviously the cyber crime people, they started to notice it, saying that if I put in small amount of money and develop this, I can make more money out of the misery of the people. So by 2010, the hackers they started to come together also as a group, as an organization, and started doing a lot of bad things. And uh, this organized crime is really really a important step for everyone in the cyber security world, because it's very difficult to catch hold of them. So that I'll explain in the next slide, why it is really difficult to catch hold of them. So now in this one I'm telling about 2010, and now when you come into mid of 2010, let's say to from 2015 to 20s and beyond, we are having a lot of things which are coming online, and not just computers and phones, but we are having internet of things, and operational technology items which are coming in, which means that even our power grids, the critical country infrastructures, a lot of things are coming online. So even the like the Nitin Wilson said, sir said, even the government, the our enemy governments and all, they also know about it. Like if we want to cripple the the other government or the other country, it's very easy to do it without spilling the blood from their side. They can do it from a room with all these people. Means you just have need to get some people and give them the sufficient resources to do it. So when it comes to the 2020s, I will say, like the cyber world and the physical world is kind of a merge now. So whatever is happening in the cyber world, you can see that effect in the physical world. So this is kind of the cyber threat evolution, which I thought it's really important for you to know. Like it's not like it started yesterday. It started slowly. People, the bad people also started to learn a lot of things and they improved. And similarly, the good guys also started to learn a lot of things and new laws were developed. But then still there is, like catching up. Like it's kind of cat and mouse games which is going on. They do something better, we also come match up to them. Then they also do try to circumvent that. So this is also happening now. Coming into the second part, like why is it like we should be worried about cyber security? Like what happens if they just crash one computer there, another computer there? Why should I be bothered about? Now the problem here is that you have to look at the cost to the world. So it has been estimated that by 2025 we will be losing around 10.5 trillion US dollars for in the cyber crime. So now again, it's for the entire world I'm talking about. And this 10.5 trillion dollars, it's not a simple money. It's a huge amount of money if you look at how much is the GDP of various countries, right? uh, now uh, uh, now when whenever you're coming into the cost of data breach, for let's say that uh, one of the companies, they had a data breach. Now an average cost of the data breach itself is like 3.83 million. Now you will be asking, how is it possible? Now if you look at the companies, when there is a data breach happening, you are the customer's personal information, their financial information, and everything is out there in the open, which means that the those bad guys can go to the dark web. They can get those hold of those information and then use it that information for identity theft, and they can apply loans in the name of those people, right, whose uh, uh, records are been exposed now. So obviously the people will be suing the company, or they will might be suing the government, whoever is responsible for that breach. And obviously there will be kind of a settlement from the court or out of the court. So if you look at the overall average per data breach, it's around 3.83, which means that everyone is losing money. The government is losing it, and the company is also losing it. Now I'm talking about from the around the world. Now your question will be like, what about India? So uh, in 2020, the cyber attacks in India cost us around 1.25 lakh crores, which is almost like 16.3 billion US dollars, a huge amount of money. And we anticipate or expect that it will grow to around 434 billion in 2025. It's a huge amount of money if you look at it. Now the another question is like, okay, how from a people point of view, like what is it for there for me? So if you look at the financial crimes in India, okay, you can see like the Indian banks have lost around 63.4 crores. But the money involved for the theft, like 195.8 crores around something was lost in financial year 2021 to the cyber crime. And obviously people will report to the police and they will try to get hold of some money. But obviously you cannot get 100% of conviction, like Nitin Wilson said, because you never know like where these people are operating from. By the time you know that something has happened, your money is already gone, and the person who did it might not even be in India. So there is a lot of money laundering happening. Once they get hold of your money, they convert it to Bitcoin, for example, and that's it. Money is gone. So now when you're coming into uh, how why should we worry about the future? The main problem is that in India, like Nitin Wilson said, that not everyone is online right now, around 400, 500 million people, but there will be more. But in coming years, due to this disruption from the COVID virus and all, lot of people have joined online now, including our students, our children. which is really worrisome. So which means that a lot more people are coming online for education and all, which means if you look at from the bad guy's perspective and eyes, he can see a lot of gullible person, right? I mean, children doesn't know about anything. They will be watching YouTube, for example. If you are giving them a Google link for the education, they will close it off and they will go to some other website which has this cartoon, and they will watch that or watch some other videos. So we have to be really careful about it. We have to make sure that our payment things which are set up in that our mobile phone is also safe. So if you look at it, from general perspective, it's really worrisome that when you move towards the future, we have to be much careful than what we have been previously. uh, Now, what I told earlier is like, you're losing money, you're gaining money. So most people will say, yeah, money you lose sometimes, you will gain sometimes. What is it serious now? But the problem is like I mentioned before, the cyber and the physical worlds are merging. So if you look at the most of the news articles from the previous years, you can see like there had been a lot of deaths, especially due to the cyber ransomware in UK and Germany, wherein the bad guys, they infected a hospital, because of which the entire hospital computer data got lost, and they couldn't take care of that their what do you call it, patients. And obviously, since they can't do anything without having the medical records, which in the US and German, if you look at Western worlds, everything is digitized. They couldn't administer the medicines, and there was loss of life, which is really priceless when you look at even $15 million or something. And then there is attack on the critical country's infrastructure. If you just imagine, like, if that bad entities were able to cripple our power grids and all, then you will be losing power. But you're not just losing power for your home, you're losing it in hospitals, you're losing it in a lot of other areas, like even nuclear power plant is there. Even you have to look at our defense industries. So it's not just like, it's not just about the money, it's about the life, and how you can make sure that you can live peacefully. So this is the your real cyber security importance when it comes to 2020s and beyond. So now we learned about how about how it was in previous, like yesterday how it was, today how it was, and in future what to expect. So now let's learn about a little bit about the enemy and their weapons, so that we can be little bit conscious about it. So if you look at the cyber security, most of the things fall into these three things, which we call CIA, which is nothing but confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Now, why only three things? Just imagine, like, you are having a data, it's your data, and you have, obviously you must be making sure that your important data or personal data should not be available to anyone else. So that is what confidentiality comes in. So when you are logging into your Amazon, you are entering your username password. So your username password is a confidential thing. Your OTP is a confidential thing. So that is confidentiality. Now, what is integrity? Integrity involves with the data that you are having, right? And you should make sure that the data is not tampered with. When I say tampered with, let's say you're logging into your bank account, and you are seeing like you are having 1 lakh rupees there, but you log into from your mobile phone and it's saying 2 lakh rupees. Now, which one should you believe? So which means that the data that you are working with, it should not be tampered with when it is at rest. Means when you are when it is in your paper, in your mobile phone, or in your hard disk in your computer, or when it is in transit, which means that you are sending the data, you're saying like, this much amount I'm going to transfer it to you, okay, to and your business partner or some other vendor. And if on the transit that 10,000 rupees gets converted to 1 lakh, that means that you are promising them that you will be sending 1 lakh rupees. So this is integrity of the data. And so uh, and that another one is availability. So if you look at it, even if you have confidentiality, even if you have integrity, but if you are unable to access your data, then it is of not point of having those things, right? So that is why availability is also a most important part in this cyber security world. So you look at any software that is developed for the cyber security, or for your internet bank. If you look at internet banking, or if you look at antivirus, or any software which is developed by vendor, they will be following these three things, which is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And obviously we also say it like, AIC, so because CIA is one of the premier organization for United States. So to make us, so when we are working with the US counterparts, we avoid this term CIA, and instead we will be saying AIC, so that they don't get confused, especially when we are dealing with the government vendors. So now let us talk about some of the weapons which the cyber criminals use. So the most important thing that you can see out there is the malware. So the malware, this term is actually is a uh, uh, it's a big term. Actually, it will contain the viruses, the bots, and all those stuff clubbed together. So basically, the malware, or a malicious software that we call, is a file or a code, which will be typically delivered to you by any means possible. They will use any means possible. But what it does is, like, it will make sure that the CIA stuff, which I talked about earlier, is not met, which means that you will not be able to access your computer. For example, you will not be you cannot trust the information which is there in the computer. And or more possibly, the availability part, they might encrypt your data, or damage your computer in such a way that you won't be able to access it. And also sometimes they will steal that information and sell, put it in the dark web, or try to kind of blackmail you into giving the money. So that again is the confidentiality part. So all this malware thing, they will be doing all this stuff. So the okay now within the malware, there are, like I mentioned, there are a lot of other things. I have not kept everything, I believe. So uh, one of them is botnets. So botnets is nothing but, it's a group of computers, and it's really important to know this part, because it could be one of you also which could be infected. So what happens is, like, if a bad guy wants to attack a government organization, he will not do it from his machine, especially if he's on the same country, right? Means who will do it from his own machine, because they can easily track you back. So what they do is, they typically try to infect someone else from another country, for possible, and then use that as a launchpad to attack the victim. So here you are kind of an intermediary, unknowingly. So a botnet is nothing but a robot network, which that attacker might be maintaining, and there could be even millions of them for a particular organized crime person. And he can even give it to some other criminals for money also, like, kind of lending, lending your apartment, your house to someone. He can lend this group of computers, so that he can carry out some other attack from, because creating this botnet network is a little bit expensive and time consuming. So they have started making money out of this one also. Now the most important part, which or the attack which they do, is using the DDoS, which I'll be explaining later. And now there is this spyware also. So obviously the bad guys are not simply there to break your computer and get away. So they want to collect as much information as possible. So there are spyware programs which kind of get installed on your computer, and then it will be recording your mic without your notice. It will be recording your screenshots, even screen grabbing your video, so that they can play the entire session later on. So, and also sometimes they will be creating kind of an backdoor, or a hidden login kind of a thing, you can say, from which they can log into the computer anytime and install more malware. Means, like, if they want to get something else out of that, then they can do it later on, like that. And now this Trojan is typically, if you look at the Trojan, it's nothing after an ordinary. You can see, like, this history of Trojan horse and all came long back. You would have seen in the movies of the Troy also. There is this kind of a Trojan horse wherein they actually go to that gullible person as an uh, as a with a gift, and but that gift is not what it's supposed to be. So here also it could be like, you that you will go and try to download, say for example, a music player which is a free one, or you could be downloading something like a document from your what a friend or someone, and you open it and that's it, it will be doing something else, and you will not even not notice it. Like, if they don't want you to notice it, you will not notice it, that is for certain. And then another one is the crypto ransomware, which has increased considerably. If you look at the last 5 years, we are getting lot of crypto ransomwares. I believe like every day there will be some variant releasing, not more, if not more. So here it's a brilliant model which uses technology, unfortunately, wherein they will come in. They will exploit some vulnerability, or which is there left there by trojans or spyware, and then they will encrypt your entire data, and then they will ask for money. But most of the times what happens is, even if you give money, you cannot be certain like you will be getting your files back. So the one thing that we tell to our clients are also like, don't give the money, because if you give the money, they will come back with a more advanced version, and then attack you or someone you love. So uh, but yeah, obviously for them also, data is important for their company, so most of the people they give it. Now I think this phishing attack, it affects everyone, including the people, us, and the people who are viewing this particular webinar, because I believe if you look at the screen, I'm really certain that you would have seen these emails somewhere. There will be someone sending an information like, okay, your password has expired, your credit card or a debit card is going to expire, you have to reset your password, or you have to click on this link and give us this information so that we can unblock your account. And now these things is not typically like, it will be coming as a coming in form of an email, it could be an sms, even it could be a call as well. But uh, if you look at that email, it will be giving you some sort of urgency, like if you don't do it in like one day, then forget about your internet banking password, internet banking account, or your your credit card, debit card is going to be blocked, and you will be you have to go to the bank and get it dealt with. So they will be giving some sort of urgency so that you click on it and give that information. That is what they want. Now some of these links, you look at that link, and you will be kind of you will know that okay, something is wrong. But there are people who will be doing it really really well, so that even an advanced user will be not able to see it properly, like unless they do something else, which I'll explain later on. Now another one that we have seen recently is like the Google AdWords, and this is really, you should be aware of this. What happens is like, let's say that you want to contact your Swiggy. Okay, so obviously you don't know the phone number for Swiggy. So what everyone does is they Google it. Now, when you Google it, there are like, the websites of Swiggy which will be giving the number, but there are also AdWords. If you can see the screen, you can see that it will be saying like, okay, call this number and this is the Apple support. And you call that number, but it will not be the Swiggy that you are connecting to. It will be some kind of a scammer, and he will be asking, okay, apne, so you gave us the order. So which is the order number? Okay, but your payment didn't go through. Can you give me your credit card details, your CVV number, the OTP, and also that we can make sure that the credit your you pay for that order, and then we will be giving you the money. And on top of that, they might give you some extra discount also. Like if you're going to use the Swiggy app, you have to pay 250, but here you have to pay only 150 rupees. So you will be giving the number, and that is that. Your money is gone, and if you give them your credit card number, you can be assured that your credit card number will reach in the database of some hacker in the dark web for selling it to other people who are interested. And then it's not like they will be targeting only the users with Microsoft or Apple and all those. They will even target you with the income tax filings and all. They will be saying that because of the COVID, the government is giving you a rebate since your salary is only this much, so you have to fill it here. So these kind of things, if you look at it, whatever they are telling, they will be coming back to you asking you for your credit card information, internet banking application, or else the worst thing is they will ask you to kind of install some kind of what you call remote access software, like you have this team viewer, you have VNC viewer, or a lot of things are available there. So at least they will ask you to install it, so that they can do it remotely without your control. Like they will be literally controlling your PC or your mobile, and they will be using the Google Pay and doing whatever they want. So don't install any softwares which no. If you look at it, a genuine bank customer care people, they will not ask you for OTP, they will not ask you for credit card information. Maybe only the last four digit or the first four digit they will be asking for verification. But please don't give any such information to anyone. If they are asking for the OTP or your PIN number, the entire credit card CVV and all, don't give it. Now coming to the phishing part, like how will you know, like if you the information that you got, or most of the times what happens is when the Diwali comes or when holidays come, you will be getting WhatsApp forwards from your family and friends saying the Geo or the Amazon or Flipkart has this sale, you click on this link and you will be getting 50% in discount. Now the problem is that obviously, if you want to get such discount, don't click on that link, go to their website directly, type it in, and then check if the discount is available, because 99% of the times whatever you get in WhatsApp is fake. Okay, so you have to go with the mindset that this thing is not genuine unless it is proved otherwise. Now if you look at this screen which I'm seeing, which I'm published here, so you can see this, there is this apple.com, right? uh, but actually this is not an apple.com. If you look at that L, it's not the English character letter L. Okay, it's actually another character which we call Punicode. It appears like L. So but how will you how will you determine if the website that you got is phishing one or not? Obviously I won't want you to click on that link from your mobile or on your computer, because it's a really bad thing to do, because it could be like drive by download or some other phishing website which will be using the browser vulnerabilities to attack your computer or the mobile, which we'll be talking in the next slides. But what you can do is you just copy that link and go to virustotal.com or a urlscan.com, and then click paste it in and then click on search. You don't have to do anything, the website will be doing that stuff. So now you can see that when you go there, this URL, this apple.com has been changed to xn hyphen 80 blah blah blah, right? So the reason is that now this URL is being transformed into real one. Okay, the real English character ones or ASCII character ones, and you can see that it's nowhere Apple. And now it will also show you the screenshot. If you look at the URL scan, it will show you the screenshot, so you will understand if it is really the Flipkart or the Amazon that you're going on. But sometimes they will keep that the view of that website similar to the Flipkart or the Amazon, you will never know. So for that we have virus total. So which means that you are not the first person to be encountered this website, right? So that is what I believe in cybersecurity. Like you are never the first person. So if you go to the website called virus total and put it in, someone would have already searched for it or given it a bad rating. So you can see here that this particular apple.com or the supports at apple.com is it's showing that this is a fake website. And to be honest, this is actually created by one of our cybersecurity friends, so that he can showcase to other people. So he has a blog, and I took it from there. Okay, now let's look at a lot of the things which even I have covered lot of these things in the previous. So the first one is that COVID or the holiday offers which I mentioned. So don't fall into that trap. If you have any queries, go to that website virus total or URL scan, search it, and or else go to the vendors website directly, type it in flipkart.com or amazon.com, and check if they are having any offers or all. Don't believe in all these WhatsApp forward or SMSs. The second one I have to talk about is advanced persistent threats, and this one it doesn't directly uh, 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 affect the users, the common users, but this one means that this is actually kind of an advanced one, which they are targeting the big corporations or the government entities, and this one is targeted to them alone. So they create a malware, or they and then they attack only that specific target, instead of going into the mass. And then the important thing here is like they are doing it so that they can be there for a long term. I'm not talking about 3 months, 4 months, but years. They want to make sure that whatever the government is doing, or that particular business entity is doing, so that they can grab whatever they can, and then they can use it against them or use it for their advantage, right? So that is what is advanced persistent threats. And it usually happens, and usually what happens is like it might be supported by the nation states or by the organized crimes. And the second one, this man in the middle attack is important for all the users. It basically means that let's say that you are talking to someone, and how can you be certain that you are talking to the person whom if it is the right person or not? So this man in the middle attack is just like that. So which means that this person will be intercepting the communications. He can either he can just look at the communication, he can watch the communication, get those information, or else the worst thing he can do is he can manipulate it and then send it to the receiver, which means that the receiver will think that this is the right information which is coming from that user, and the user will think that he sent the right information to the receiver, which is in this case is actually incorrect. So most of the times this eavesdropping and all, you can see if you are using the hotspot. I will be talking about it later, especially when you're going to the coffee house or something and using their wi-fi, so which you need to be really little bit uh, you know concerned about. So we'll be coming to that topic. Okay, and this one I believe I touched upon when we talked about this phishing website, which is drive-by download. So drive-by download is nothing like, just like the term states, you go to the website, you will not find anything ordinary out of the ordinary. But what is happening in the backend is, if that website, it might be legitimate website, or it could be like you have tricked into going to that website, or legitimate like in legitimate website which has been hacked previously. So you go to that website, and that website will be hosting some codes in their in that web server, which is kind of processed by your browser. So that code will be trying to download some malwares using the known vulnerabilities. And then you will not even know that you will not get any prompt or something. It will happen in the backend. It means it's all done. By the time you close the window, it's all done. And then second one is malvertising. So malvertising is nothing but, if you look at a lot of the websites, you just go to any website, you go to your news website, or you just open up the Google, for example, you'll be seeing all the ads. And some of the ads will be very simple. If you look at the Google, it's very simple ads. But if you go to some content provider websites like news websites and all, you can see lot of ads which has got flash, not means not most of them don't use flash, but HTML5 or JavaScript and all those stuff, so that it can be a little bit more interactive. But the problem is that with interaction comes a lot of functionalities, and the malvertising people, what they do is they will be buying those ads from the genuine players, and then they will be creating these ads which are incorporated with the malware, and then selling it to these websites hosters. And the website hosters also, most of the times they will not know, they cannot find it, because they are getting like millions of ads, and they are pushing these millions of ads to maybe billions of people, right? And so they will not be knowing it. But most of the times when you click on that ad, it will take you to some other website, or worst, it use this drive-by download to download some other malware. And the next one is the rogue software. So rogue software is not, it's kind of from the term itself you can know, like it's misleading, right? It will, you go to website, it will say the antivirus 2020, and it will say it is the best one out there, and they will be giving you some fake reviews as well, asking you to download it, or sometimes it will get automatically download using drive-by downloads. And then it will be showing this pop-ups like, okay, well, you know what, your computer is infected with like 10,000 viruses, and do you want to clean it? If you click on yes, sometimes it will be asking for money. And sometimes it will be asking you to download some web some other web softwares which will be doing more damage. So you have to be really careful, like what security solutions you are installing it. You go to the proper vendor's site, you download it and you pay it and you use it. So that should be the way we should be using this, or else it will give you the false sense of security, right? You will feel like you are secure because you are having this best antivirus 2010 2020, but then it's all done. Okay, now this.
I would like to intervene. Just
Yeah.
yes, I would just like to say that we have already got a lot of questions from viewers. Viewers would like to know. They have a lot of queries on
Okay.
cyber crimes and how to remain safe. So as soon as you finish with the presentation, and we will take the
Sure,
questions.
sure,
So I
sure. Yeah.
request you to run a little
Yeah,
faster.
okay, I have to little faster. Okay, I
Presentation.
got it. All right. I think the DDoS attack, the remote access software, I already explained it. So the DDoS attack is nothing but, like I mentioned, you will be having lots of boards, and that the boards will be controlled by one attacker, and he will be targeting a particular web server. So he can do a lot of things there, like he can send them a flood of info. So let's say that you're having 1 Mbps connection at your home, or 100 Mbps, and like that, if I'm having a 10,000 computers, then I'm having a huge amount of bandwidth, right? And I can ask this all these 10,000 computers to send this 100 Mbps per connection to a website which can, let's say, handle only 500 Mbps. So now what happens is, like, that particular website gets overwhelmed, which means that it cannot actually respond to the genuine queries, and obviously it crashes. So that is the DDoS attack. Zero day exploits is nothing but, no new exploits which has been developed, let's say today or yesterday, which has not been patched by the vendor yet. So which means that if I'm using a software which has a 0 day, and the attacker has already created an exploit using this, then it means that he can use that to infect my computer. Okay, I think okay. I think my screen. Okay, yeah, sure. Thank you. So then insider threat is coming up. So the insider threat, it's again, it's applicable for only the corporates, which means that you are having a person as an employee who is doing all the bad things, and obviously it's very difficult to get hold of, catch him, because you will come to know something has been done if uh, very late. Like, they will be like a genuine user, but they will be doing something bad, and by the time you catch, it's really too late. So that is insider threat, and this is actually one of the important things that we take care in the cybersecurity world, when we are coming, you're looking into the clients with corporates and all. Ransomware attacks I already described, so I'll skip it for interest of time. And then there is this nation states, which means, like, uh, that particular country has got their own hacking team. Means I'm not telling the country names here, but I believe 2 or 3 countries who are doing these things. So what they will be doing is, like, obviously they don't have to fear about legal retributions and all. So they will ask their brilliant people to create some programs which they can deploy it against their enemies, right? So the best example here is the Stuxnet malware, which was directed at Iran's nuclear manufacturing, and then there was an attack against Sony Pictures by one of the countries. So and I believe most of you might have heard these stories. Then comes the cyber terrorism, which Wilson sir also mentioned here, right? So so this one is nothing but, most of the times the bad guys are there only for the money, or trying to achieve something for their country. But here the cyber terrorists, their only concern is, like, make sure that their ideology is spread, and for spreading that ideology they will be doing anything which can lead up to the death of people, or create lot of mass hysteria. So that is what they are they are doing. So that is their main motive. And the corporate spies and organized crime, again, their motivation is just to get some information from the other company, and their goal is mostly profit based. So uh, the, and then comes this hacktivists. So hacktivists, like, anonymous. So they believe in some kind of idea, and they will go and do some things really bad to achieve that idea. And it might be possible that they could be working from some as kind of a false flag. They could be working from some other organized crime people, or even the nation state. We will never know. But I believe you might have heard a lot about Anonymous and what the things they are doing right now in the Ukraine war also. And then another one is the disgruntled insiders, which basically means an employee who is not happy with the company. So what they can do? So the things they can do is like they can exfiltrate that information. They can plant a logic bomb, which is kind of a malware, which means that I plant it now and I will be creating in such a way that it will be executing maybe after 30 days after I leave the company, so that no one can point fingers at me. So these kind of things they can do. And I've given an example also here, where a person who has been fired from that company, they got an access. They instead of revoking that access, company had kept their access. So that lady was able to log into that Dropbox and delete all that information. Because of that, the company failed and they had to close down. And also there is accidental actions and authorized user. Because of human errors, some things are really they kind of turn off the security, I can say, and because of which that hack happens. But these are all coming under the human errors. So this one is the things which the weapons of the attackers, and some things which we also need to be careful about. uh, so uh, so let's look at how to defend yourself. So one of the main thing that you can do is please install antivirus programs, uh, or internet security program in your computer, on your mobile. uh, Obviously, yes, some of the phones they will not allow you to install it. For example, Apple's iPhone, they don't have any internet security or antivirus programs. But most of the computers, and like Windows computers and Android, they support this antivirus programs. So please install it, so that you can protect yourself against the spam, which is the phishing things. And also you can enable the parental controls and protect your information. So all this is supported by the antivirus program. Now let's talk about the mobile security. The reason I put this slide is like, because everyone has even if people are not connected online via their computers, they are connected online where their 2Gs, 3Gs, 4Gs and all, right? So uh, the mobile is the most is the number one device which is connected online now. So what you have to do is please encrypt your phone. So most of the vendors, they support this setup. For example, Apple and Samsung has got this Knox security. So encrypt your phone. The reason I'm telling you this is, even if you lose your phone, your data will be encrypted, so the bad guys will not be able to access your information. And another one is, they have something like a safe folder, wherein you can keep your all your personal information like photos and all. So even if an application gets installed which has got access to their disk of your phone, for example, or a SD card, uh, this Knox security, or other vendors, such these, they will not allow those application to access these secure folders. And another one is, you have to be very careful about the Wi-Fi's, public Wi-Fi's, not your home one. You have to encrypt your, or make sure that your Wi-Fi is also protected with the password and all. But I'm talking about the hotspot. You go to a coffee shop, they will be having their own hotspot. But the problem is that these hotspots are very easy to create. I believe many of you have created for your friends and family also, using your phone, nothing but your phone, right? So I can create a SSID, or a kind of a name, a wireless name called coffee house, and I can keep it in my computer itself, or I can have another device which is creating it. And obviously the people will not know which is the real SSID, right? If it is coffee shop or the coffee shop, so they might inadvertently connect to mine, and now I can do the man in the middle attack. So make sure that you don't connect your hot computer or the phone to an unknown Wi-Fi. And then please don't jailbreak or root your device. This is really bad idea. The reason why the vendors have kept that particular stuff off your hands is because if you have access to if you have root access to your computer, or sorry, into your mobile, which means that all the applications which you are installing in it, it will also have the root access, which means if tomorrow if a malware gets into your computer, he will be having a field day. He can go and do anything and everything. And also the softwares which I told before, like the Nox and all, probably it will also not be able to do anything, because the first thing that these malware do is to turn off those security features. Another one is like use your reputed mobile antivirus, not something which I mentioned, like the best antivirus 2020 kind of thing. Don't use that. And then please back up your data in your secure drive or somewhere, so and do it diligently every month or whatever frequency you want to do. Because the reason being, in case if your phone gets lost or you get a ransomware attack, at least you don't have to pay them, right? You can get your data back from your backup. And please use official apps and official stores. I know like many people, they will go and download it from the APK stores and all, which is really bad, because you never know what APKs they are put in. Means if you look at Google or Apple stores, they will be doing kind of, they will be doing a virus scanning, they will be doing an audit of that app, and then only they will allow you to publish it. But still, we have incidents where people used to, the malware makers were able to put their APKs in the Play Store and app, but inevitably it will get removed by the Google. But if you start using the third-party app providers, then you are in your own. Then please go and check your phone's app access permissions. You will be really surprised. Like we have incidents where it's a simple PDF reader, but that PDF reader has access to my mic, it has access to my camera. Now why should they have access to my mic, my camera, and my contact details? So there are many apps which will be saying like it is a simple torch app, but again it has access to my contacts. So you can look at those app permissions and disable it, or best thing is remove those apps if you don't trust them. And make sure, and also make sure that no app is actually free. Like you might have seen this torch apps and all, where you install it, or the scanner app from the Chinese vendors, it is free, but it's loaded with ads and tracking codes. So please remember that no app is actually free. And please use a unique pin code to kind of block your or lock your phones. And make sure that it is not your date of birth, it is not your vehicle number or ATM number, or anything which you think it's very easy to remember. Because the thing is like this will be the first things that everyone will be trying. Even your friends will be able to hack it, or use it to break into your computer. So don't use those numbers, make it something totally different. And be careful about the social engineering scams. So with this one I already talked about, so I'm not going into details there. And make sure your operating system is up to date. So you will be having Windows updates, Android updates, Apple updates. Please do it. And also the applications which you are using, please update it, because those are all the only things which will help you to protect you from the vulnerabilities. And please don't use any cracked softwares or pirated softwares. So these cracks and all are made by changing the codes in that application by the vendor, which is published by the vendor. So they actually, first thing that they do is they will tamper proof with their anti-tampering modules, so that the software will not know that it has been patched, right? So once you do that, then you are losing everything, the integrity part, it's losing everything. So and also the licensing. And again, if you even if you do that, what happens is like the pirated softwares or the cracked software, you will not get any updates. Okay, and even if you are using only the a pirated key, when you do a next update, obviously the vendor will be disabling it. And obviously when you disable that software program, you are not having any antivirus. So what will you do? You have to go back to that cracked website to get a new serial number, right? And that cracked website is nothing but, you can say that it's a curry of every malware thing that you can find there. And since you don't have any protection because your computer, that antivirus is disabled, it's a field day for the hackers. So they got what they want. So don't use it. So if you don't have if you don't want to spend money to install or buy any antivirus software, premium ones, then go for the free ones. There is AVG free, use it, it's better than having a cracked versions, right? uh, And another one is like the for password hygiene. Please don't use password one, your kids date of birth or something like that, which easily anyone can get. So this has happened to one of the Western actress, wherein her iCloud was hacked, and Apple said that it was not hacked, but again it was the people, the hackers were able to get hold of their that information, because she was using, the password hints, the typical password hints, which most of the unfortunately the bank also gives, is like, what is your kid's birthday, where did you study, where was your date of birth, what is your mother's name. Everyone in your Facebook friends knows this, right? So which means that they can even get hold of your password using the forgot password link. So please don't use it, and please don't write your password in any paper and keep it under your desk so that you can remember it. And don't use the same password for multiple websites, because what the bad guys does is like, if one of the website gets hacked, okay, and they get your password, they will be trying it on all the other website where you might be having accounts in. So they will be having a field day. So please don't do it. You use unique password each website. Now uh,
Uh,
yeah.
Ramesh sir. So
Yes.
we have some questions for the
Yeah, let's
IT
go to that.
officers of the crime branch. We'll
Yes.
come to this. We'll come to this part of how to
Hmm.
defend oneself from cyber attacks. But
Yes.
thanks for running us through the dangerous world of cyber crimes. Okay, telling us about malwares and different type of malwares, phishing, and also giving us some very important tips to remain cyber secure. But now we will take some questions that we have come across. So I would now invite IPS Officer Shobit Saxena, SP Crime and SP North Goa, to answer some of the questions that we have collected from people when we were just doing a research on this webinar. So a question that has been very commonly asked by many people is that ransomware. Even Ramesh sir was telling us about ransomware. Um, we want to know that we know that ransomware is the biggest cyber security pain point in India. So would you like to tell us what methods can one adopt to foolproof one's online world from ransomware?
I think that's a very good question. And ransomware today is actually a very big threat. If we talk about statistics, roughly there are 10,000 ransomware attacks around the world every day. So that means that it is actually a very big threat to cyber security. What ransomware actually targets is your information, and they will either target individuals or they will target corporates. So just like Mr. Babu had explained, that the targets can be hospitals or critical infrastructure, which could really paralyze the system. So I think it is very important to safeguard yourself from ransomwares. So what can you do? The simple thing to do is you just have to be alert, and you have to be you have to take certain basic precautions. For all cybercrime, I believe that you have to take basic precautions to safeguard yourself. Like what you can do is don't open attachments in emails which you do not know of. So, how do ransomwares work? Ransomware will send you a malware in the form of an attachment in an email. If you open it, it will infect your system. You will get a ransomware. You will get a ransomware call where they'll ask you for money. So, the first thing you should never do is don't open attachments from unverified emails. Don't use USB sticks which you don't know of, because USB sticks again can carry malware. Then if you are using a network, say a network within your office or within your corporate, then make sure you have a good firewall to safeguard information, and you do not allow emails which are spam or which are doubtful integrity to enter your networks. That is how you can safeguard, by investing in a good security system in your networks. uh, then if you are an individual user, you can do so by keeping your operating systems up to date and using a good firewall or a good antivirus. So these are some very basic tips for safeguarding yourself from ransomware attacks.
Okay, thank you. So, a good security system, good firewall, good firewalls and taking basic precautions like not opening attachments, unknown attachments. So these are some takeaways. Okay, thank you, sir. Now we would like to know a little bit of how the police department deals, okay, with such crimes. There's a question that many a times it is seen that the IP address of the crime doer is in some other state other than the victim's place. In that case, the cybercrime victim, please tell us to which state, the police of which state should the cybercrime victim approach? And in this connection, you can throw some light on the interstate coordination for tackling cybercrimes.
I'll take the first question first, which is what can a person do who realizes that who has just been cheated online. So I think the first reaction that we as the police officers see is that a person gets panicky the moment he comes to know that he has lost some money from his bank account. They panic. So what do you do? The first thing I think you should do is you should report it on 1930. 1930 or cybercrime.gov.in. So when you report, the moment you report, there is a log that such and such phone number or such and such account number is being used for cyber fraud. What happens in the backend at 1930 is that they take all this information and they relay this information so that further transactions or further phone calls from such numbers can be barred. So that is the first thing you should do. How it will help you is that at least it will stop your money from moving between bank accounts. So that is the first thing you should do. Call 1930 or log in and just report on cybercrime.gov.in. Now once you've reported, what you do, suppose you come to know that maybe that person was calling from Bihar or from Odisha or from Rajasthan. Again, don't panic. Go to your nearest police station and tell them that such and such cyber fraud has taken place. Give them a detailed complaint about when it happened, which numbers got a call from, which account did you transfer the money to, if it was a UPI transfer, what was the UPI ID. Give them the details and insist on registration of an FIR. You have a right to have your FIR registered. So no matter what anyone says, your local police station will register your FIR. If they decline, then you must always escalate the matter to the next senior officer and make sure you get an FIR copy. How will this help you? This will help you in a very simple way. Suppose you have reported and you have an FIR in hand and you go to the bank saying that, see, I have been defrauded, I have reported it, I have an FIR. The banks also have a robust system by which they can return your money. So the most important thing is that you will report and you will get an FIR and you will get your money back. And the police investigation will carry on in the background. So there are basically two aspects that a person is looking for: to get the money back, or and to get the culprits caught. So you can get the money back by approaching your bank with the documents, and and the police can investigate the case. Now coming to the second part, what if during investigation it is found that the IP addresses are from a different state? That does not matter really, because in Goa we have seen especially that all the cases are of different states. But we have a very close coordination with all state police. Everyone realizes the importance of cybercrime, and state police, they work together in a cooperative manner to ensure that cybercrime is either prevented, or if not prevented, it is detected by mutual cooperation. Now there are some systemic things also that have been brought into place. For example, there is a cyber safe system which has been introduced by MHA for coordination amongst all state police. So the moment, suppose I am the investigating officer of a case in which I see there are IP addresses or there are phone numbers of a different state, I can put them down in the cyber safe record so that all state police will know that this number or this bank account was previously used, this IP address was previously used, so that if they also have similar cases, we can all work on those cases together. So that is point number one. Point number two is there's a joint coordination committee which has been made also by MHA, in which different states, they group together and they talk to each other about cybercrime detection. Each state then has a nodal officer. Nodal officers talk amongst themselves so that if there are and all, suppose I have detected a case today, I have arrested someone from, say, Jamtara, which is infamous for cybercrime, and I put the details in the joint coordination group, then everyone will come to know that this person has been caught, and if they have any linkages, all the cases pertaining to that person will be detected. So there's a robust mechanism for coordination. So the moment you report your cybercrime, the police gets into action, the banks get into action, and today it is the priority for all law enforcement and banking organizations to ensure A, that money is returned, and B, that the culprits are caught. So you should report. 1930 is the first number you should go to.
Thank you, thank you. So we need not worry about in which state the IP address is located. We just need to inform in 1930 or cybercrime.gov.in, register an FIR, which is a basic right, and escalate the matter to the next higher level if we do not get any response. These are the takeaways. Thank you. Um, would you like to highlight some instances of crime that your department, cyber crimes that your department has come across, so that our viewers, can take some lessons? I'm sure you must be having a lot of interesting stories to share. So so please highlight some story, some sort of crimes that your department has cracked.
I think I'll use this question to tell people about what not to do on in the cyberspace. So, like other eminent speakers, Nidin sir and Ramesh ji have said that cybercrime is a very dangerous place. I do agree, but it is only as dangerous as our real world is. So we have to take all precautions that we take in real life. You don't just go and give someone money. You don't just go and take people's pictures. You don't do any of that in real life. So don't do it in the cyberspace. So the first thing that I want to tell you is that about cases that we are looking at now are cases in which there is a lot of making of fake WhatsApp accounts. So how this is happening, this is actually a very good example to show how one small mistake can really snowball into a lot of problems for you on in the cyber world. So what happens now is that like a lot of people have asked on YouTube, and also to Ramesh ji had explained that if you download unverified content from the app store or from websites, you may get free content, you may get free movies, but you don't know what you're actually downloading, what is coming in the background. So what happens the moment, all of us love watching movies on the phone. So we are going in the metro or we are traveling in a bus, we'll download a movie and we'll start watching it, and we are downloading it for free. We want free Netflix, we want free everything. So the moment you download, what happens is they ask for permissions. The apps or the websites, they ask for some permissions, or they get permissions automatically in your phone the moment you download them. So they take away your contact lists. They also take away other sensitive information which you have on your phone. Then what they'll do is they will have a number, some random number. They'll have access to your photo library. They'll save the photos. They'll save the contact list. And suppose this photo is there in my phone. They'll make a WhatsApp account, put my photo, and start messaging all the contacts from my contact list which they have downloaded. Then they will start asking for money on some pretext or the other, that I am in the hospital or I am in a vacation. They'll put some vacation photos also for you to believe them. And what they'll simultaneously do is they will start trying to log into your original WhatsApp account. They'll not be able to log in, but what will happen is WhatsApp will disable your original WhatsApp account. There's a fake account which is going on. So suppose Ramesh ji tries to contact me, then ki Shobit boss, your WhatsApp is hacked, I think. So he'll not be able to reach me on my original WhatsApp, whereas the fake WhatsApp will be sending messages to everyone and they'll try to get money. So these cases we have seen to a large extent in the last 1 month. These cases have targeted ordinary citizens and even eminent persons in the state. Senior officers, senior political functionaries have been a target of this case. So my advice, and let me also tell you that we have been able to crack these cases. We have been able to arrest people across India for doing such activities. But what has happened, it has happened after a week or so. Till then, some money has been transferred. So my advice to my friends who are listening is that please do not download content from unverified websites. Please do not download apps without reading their reviews. Please do not share any type of code, no matter whose life is at stake. Don't download any surreptitious content from the internet. Keep yourself safe. Keep your mobile phone safe. It has all your information. Just for the sake of getting some free movies, don't surrender all your privacy. So that is the first case I want to tell you about. And the second case is also, this is a case which people really feel shy about coming to the police, are the cases of sextortion cases. So what happens is, you will go on some website, you will get an ad that some pretty girl wants to chat with you, and you will click that link, and that girl will chat with you. You will, girl or boy, whoever it may be, they'll chat with you, and they will take your, they will click your screenshot or record your video in intimate and compromising positions. Then once they have that video, they will threaten you to post it online on YouTube or on WhatsApp or on Facebook. And they will also have, because they'll know your Facebook account, they will also know your friends. So they'll send it to your parents, they'll send it to your relatives. It becomes a very embarrassing situation. So my advice to you is, do not use unverified dating apps. Do not click on surreptitious pornographic or sex chat links. They are very dangerous. You will end up losing your privacy once again. So be aware of these two scams. These are the two scams which we are really seeing a lot these days in the last couple of months.
Thank you. These are very valuable advices indeed. Okay. Now, a person wants to know that we have had another question which says that a common step for crimes related to economic offenses is that putting innocent citizens into trap and getting to know their OTP. So please make us aware about what are the different approaches used by criminals to trap a person into sharing OTP.
Okay. So again, let me give you a real life analogy for this. Suppose you are in a restaurant, or you are walking on the road, or whatever you are doing, gone shopping, and someone approaches you and tells you, "Boss, please give me your OTP." Will you give it to him? You will not give it to him. If someone tells you, "Acha, don't tell me your OTP, just write it on this piece of paper, and I will not read it, I promise." That you won't do it in real life. So why would you do it if someone asks you over the phone? So don't share your OTP. No one will ever ask you for your OTP. OTPs are only for the purpose that you don't tell others. So don't tell others your OTP. Be very careful about. Acha, then what happens is, you will tell that person, "I am not going to tell you my OTP. I am not supposed to share it with you." And the person on the other end, the cheater, will tell you, "Okay, don't tell me. I am sending you a link. Why don't you click on that link?" And you can. It is the link of the bank or the website, or whatever your apple.com or microsoft.com. You can just put it, and you can insert the OTP. 100 out of 100 times that link will be a malicious link. It will take you to a page which looks similar to the original page, but which is not the original page. So do not click on links which are sent during online, chats or online talking with what may seem as customer care agents. If they tell you that you have to put a link, you ask them, where I will go to the website on my own. You tell me the website name, I will go to that website, and I will enter whatever OTP needs to be entered on the original website. Do not click on links to share OTP. Do not orally give out your OTP online. The basic funda is, don't ever share your OTP anywhere except where you have previously shared OTP. Like, there are some verified apps, Google Pay, you can share OTP, because you have to write OTPs during your transactions. On Paytm, you will have to write OTP. So those are safe, those are verified. You have them on your phone, you use them every day, it's fine. Don't put OTPs on new links, and don't tell them to people orally on the phone.
Thanks. The same applies for ATM pins and CVVs,
Yeah.
right, sir?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Is how fraudsters come to know about credit card information, and how do they get phone numbers of people so easily? Is there any means you know where people suspect that sharing of databases are happening very rampantly? Is it so?
Yeah. I that's completely right. Sharing of databases actually happening very rapidly, and right from the moment you go to the supermarket, and while billing, he asks you, you are in a hurry, and he asks you, "Sir, please tell me your mobile number." You will tell him your mobile number. He'll note it down. He'll write it. From that point to sharing your mobile number and your data on even reputed sites, data is getting leaked because because there are several cyber attacks on reputed websites also. So your basic data, whatever they don't encrypt and keep it securely, will all get leaked. So it is true, your mobile numbers and your email addresses are being shared. When you are sharing with someone, they presume that it's their right to share it with others. So I think someone also asked on YouTube, should we share, is it compulsory to share my password, sorry, my email addresses or my mobile numbers when I'm going to the supermarket? No, it's not compulsory. You should not share it unless you want to receive some sort of promotional content, or in the worst case scenario, you see your phone number or your email address being peddling on, like Nitin sir said, on the dark web to fraudsters. So all of our data is worth nearly 5 paise. So my basic data, like my date of birth, my my email address, my phone number. So if there are 100 people, someone will pay 5 to 10 rupees and can purchase it on the dark web. So don't share, where you are not comfortable, don't share your data. But the risk of data leakage is a very real risk. And to be very honest, even the best of websites have not found 100% foolproof cure to ensure that there is no data leakage.
Okay. Related to this, you said that don't share if you don't feel very comfortable about sharing data in a particular website. Now, how to judge whether a website or an app is an authentic one? I mean, everybody is not very tech savvy. In this country, so especially for them, especially the sites which are associated with financial transactions, online gift frauds, carding, then farming, this sort of crimes are happening. So please give us some guidelines on how to recognize whether a website or an app is an authentic one.
Okay, so that's another very good question, very relevant in the present scenario. And Ramesh ji had spoken in detail about it. I will just again wrap it in a nutshell. What you can do is, the first thing you should do is that don't click on links which you've received from other people. Don't do it. If he says that, Acha, today it is LIC India IPO, I will send you a link of LIC India. Just click on it and you will get 10% discount on LIC shares. Don't click on it. You go to Google, write LIC India, and you will get the correct this thing in the search. And only click those links which are verified in the Google search. You know that this looks genuine. After the ads, the correct websites will come down. So you don't have to know the correct website address of any website. Just type, suppose you want to go to LIC India, write LIC India. You'll see a couple of ads, 3 4 ads up front. Ignore them, go to the first website which you see. After that, that will be 99 out of 100 times the correct website. The second thing you should do is, if you really want to check, the second check is, you copy that link that you see. You copy it and you post it in Notepad, so that if there are any alphabets which are not ASCII, or with A to Z alphabets, which are some Greek alphabet, some Russian alphabet, some random sign, a symbol is there to mimic a particular alphabet, uh, you won't find it. You will find it clearly marked out in Notepad, because Notepad is simple, no formatting, font size, font type. So you can copy and paste a URL in the Notepad. That is the second level check that you can do. Then there are some telltale signs. Suppose, okay, you think that theek hai, this link looks fine, I'll click on it. You've put it on Notepad and it looks okay. Then when you go on the website, you see for some telltale signs. Look at the scrolling remarks on the site. If they seem very old, 2010, 2011, then there's something wrong. If they seem like there is some grammatical error, something is wrong. So look for telltale signs. Be alert while you're going on websites. Also see if the graphics are not correct. If in the address box you see that there is a cache address somewhere, don't trust it. So there are 3 steps basically. First is, don't click on the link, go to Google and try to see which is the correct website. Second is, paste the name of the website in your Notepad. And third is, look for some telltale signs. And if it's a completely new website, Then there are many reviewing websites on Google. So you can just put the name of that website, say abcdbooks.com. So you and write reviews. So abcdbooks.com space reviews. Google will tell you the reviews. It will tell you scam hai, fake hai, real hai, fake hai. It will tell you everything. So you have to trust Google Baba for this a little and your own instinct, and you will be safe.
Thank you, sir. Now there are some questions for Nidin Palsan, sir. Okay, so you have already said, both of you, the IPS officers as well as Mr. Ramesh Babu, you have told us that there are various risks in a cyber world. Okay, and Shobit sir has told us how to lodge a complaint by a victim of cybercrime. Now, the question is, sometimes it happens that the crime is identified after a long duration of its occurrence. So, is there any time period by which the complaint should be lodged? So,
That's a good question, Shriyanka. But see, for any offense, irrespective of whether there is a cyber crime or anything, you can, as soon as you are aware that an offense is committed, you can immediately report. So you have to be primarily aware that there is something has happened to you. Then only you can report. So law doesn't give mandate like this. This should be like in this specific period of time you have to report. But reiterating what Shobit and Mr. Ramesh said, as soon as you are aware, you should report, because those those time period, that is very crucial. It's not only about bringing the accused to justice. It's also about saving your hard earned money or your reputation or anything. You are aware and you are waiting. There is every chance that the offense can convert into a chain reaction type thing. For example, you have lost some money, the accused has access to your details. The moment you report to the police officers, they will contact the bank and will immediately block it. Or even if you don't report to the police and directly talk to the bank, they will immediately block the account so that your further siphoning of the money can be stopped. Or else, and photo has been shared on the Facebook and somebody has taken your photo, and he is sending or request to other people asking for money, and you are aware and you are waiting like what to do. Why are you waiting for it? Immediately you should report to the police officers. The police officers know whom to contact. They are always in touch with the Facebook or the social media. There are some nodal agencies whom we are always in touch. Immediately we will report to them saying that a fake profile has been created and you should stop it. So that is the most important thing. You prevent further damage. Then as soon as the report is done, the police officers take action against the accused people. And once the accused is brought before justice, it is ensured that the same thing doesn't happen to anybody else. So it is very, very important that you report, and there is no particular period which is mentioned like you have to report. You can report at any point of time.
thank you, sir. So, so please give us a few tips. Please share a few tips for elderly citizens to remain cyber safe. They may not be very cyber savvy, tech savvy. So it's very important for them to have some valuable tips from you.
It has been already told in detail by Shobit. I will just add on or reiterate what he has said. Most important thing which happens to elderly people is sharing their OTPs. OTPs are not supposed to be shared. Nobody, even the bank, insurance companies, or any financial institutions, they keep messaging you, they keep mailing you saying that we don't ask for OTP. We never check those messages, we never check those mails, but we will see some message, some mails, and some SMS which shows that you have won 25 lakh rupees. And immediately you will give your information and your OTPs. So never ever share the OTPs. Second most important thing is like you should never give your private mobile devices or laptops to unknown persons whom you can't be trusted. There are people who just come to you and say that, sir, I just want to make a call to my parents. I don't have anything. I don't have any phone number with me. So out of sympathy, you might give it to that person. It's there you have to make a decision whether you should give it or not. There are people who use those moments to get into this your mobile and try to get their information, or install some malwares in your mobiles. Don't connect to any unknown Bluetooth devices. Don't connect to any untrustworthy Wi-Fi sources as well, because these unknown devices, the Bluetooths can be used to send malware, spywares, any viruses to your mobile as well as your laptop, and it can be used for all the cyber crimes.
Thank
Another important thing is, like, there are there are a lot of ransomwares or malwares which just pop into your system, which while you are unaware of, while you are still unaware, like they are doing that. How do you stop it? So its prevention is important. So how do you prevent it? In your laptop or in mobile, ensure that you install a very good antivirus or malware detector. There are lots of applications, but ensure that you install it from a very good reputed company, and they might you ensure that you have all the protections which the company offers. So that can always stop unknown sources from using, because while you have these applications, and you are going to install the apps which are not from any trusted devices, the malware detector or the antivirus can notify you saying that you are going to install from a very unreliable source, whether you want to continue or not. That question, when you press no, you can stop the criminals from hacking your system. And anything which comes to your notice, say suppose you have any doubt, please don't hesitate to bring it to the notice of any experts or to law enforcement agencies. Some people feel like these are very trivial things. Why should I talk to my kids? Why should I talk to my friends about this? No, these are very important. Sometimes out of mere embarrassment they will not speak. Sometimes out of curiosity they might add some friend request, and this might be turned out to be some cyber criminals, but they feel like, yeah, malab, it will embarrass my name. But see, you should have some reliable friends, some reliable guys and you should take advice, and you should show their experts, like, is this reliable, or is it something bad is going to happen. So you should always take the advice of experts while you think that you have some issues with your mobile, or you have landed up in some trouble.
Thank you. So, would you like to add something else? Okay.
No, that's
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Now about social media, where from maximum information leakage happens. Okay. So, share a few tips, or what safeguards and privacy measures, filters should be applied while sharing some information and photographs in social media. So, Nitin, sir, would you like to take that question? Uh,
Yeah, I will answer it, but I will also request Shobit to please add on it. One
yeah.
two things which comes to my immediate mind is, like, you should always be very careful whom you are sending the photos or whom you are sharing your information. Yes. So, for example, in Facebook and all, there is something you can make your privacy settings very strong. You should lock your profile. Nowadays, there is an crime in which a criminal having access to your Facebook profile. He has knowledge about who all your relatives, who all your friends, and they take some. If your Facebook profile is not locked, they will take your photo and create another fake ID and you'll start messaging every person saying that I am in financial trouble. You please share 50,000 or some money. So they will ask some money which you can immediately share, like 10%, 20,000 rupees. People will see, "Ah, he is my friend. So let's share." So once you have started sharing, then only you will understand that you have been you have been sharing to a wrong person. Another is like, don't ever share very very confidential information on social media. Even sharing your mobile number, especially I would say for the people who are in very sensitive posts, or who are even for girls, you're sharing the mobile number. Once any person gets access to that mobile number and you're not responding to that mobile number, they can share that mobile number to any websites. And after 10 days, once you share the mobile number, will be getting number of phones from unknown people asking for a lot of services which you're totally unaware of. Like, why it happened? The only mistake you did was, like, while you were logging into that software, or you are when you are joining to that application, you had shared your mobile number. It happens while you are sharing it in the social media. One last one which I want to add is like, please be very careful when you are adding your friends. When you get a lot of friend requests, please make sure that the people whom you are adding are known to you. Once you are adding those friends either in any of the social media, you are giving them access to see you, giving them access to contact you. What happens? Then they will start making you video calls. They start sending you some links. Once you touch those links, once you accept that video calls, the person on the other side will be in a very very inappropriate, will be some inappropriate video will be shown. There will be some inappropriate positions they will be showing. And by the time you know, like, you are seeing something inappropriate, your video will be already recorded. They will be having a video recorder or the screen recorder, and it will be hardly for 10 seconds. By the time you know, you cut it off, this would have been recorded. And your all your information is available on the social media. Who are your parents? And you have already shared the information. He is my cousin brother, she is my cousin sister, he is my brother-in-law. All every information you are sharing on Facebook. So they know, like, who to whom if they send, you will get embarrassed. Then they will start asking you money. They will send you the video saying that, see, this is the video. Okay, if you don't give us this much money, I will send the videos to your brother-in-law who is this guy, or who is your sister who is this guy. Then they will send to those people. So after the one, they you will initially think, no, they are just threatening. Once your sister or brother, or your brother-in-law calls and says, like, what is this video, then you are aware, yeah, he is sending. Then you will start giving money. So it will go on. By the time the police is able to crack the case, you might land up in trouble. So you should be very very careful with these things. Shobit can add more points on this.
Yes, please, Shobit sir.
Thank you so much, Nitin sir. Although you've spoken in great detail about it, I just have two, three very practical points to ensure safety on social media profiles. The first thing is, do not let your kids use social media without supervision. So if your children, if you are watching and you have minor children who are using social media sites, please make sure you supervise who their friends are, who they are following, who is following them, and who they are messaging. Because we have in the recent past had many cases in which children are the victims of people who are uh, people who are perverts, who are pedophiles, and they take advantage of kids online. So do not allow your kids to use social media without supervision. The second thing I'll tell you is, we normally have two types of profiles on social media. One is a private. Our profile may be private, it may be public. If it is public, do not share sensitive data about your family members, about where you are going, where you are coming from in real time. Suppose I am making a trip to Bombay today, and I have checked in at the airport. I have written I am flying with family to Mumbai today. So now this is public information. Everyone knows that I am not going to be at home for the next 4 days. For people who are on Facebook and who have criminal intent, they will use this knowledge. Uh, to their whatever end it is, they may try to commit a burglary knowing that you are not at home. So don't put sensitive personal information on public accounts. If you've gone to Bombay, you want to put it on Facebook, make it as an undated post later, after a couple of days, so that the person does not know where your current whereabouts are. Similarly, don't share information about your family, where your kids are going to school, where your wife is going to work. Don't share those kind of details on uh, public profiles. If you have a private profile, you can share that kind of data, but please be very careful about who you're adding as your friends. Like Nitin sir said, you may get some links, they may send you some malware. So be very careful about people you're adding as friends. They should the standard to add people is that you should know them at least through one or two mutual friends who you trust. So if suppose Nitin sir is my friend, and Ramesh ji has sent me a friend request, I don't know him directly, but I can see that Nitin sir is a mutual friend. I can leave a message to Nitin sir saying that Ramesh ji has added me on Facebook. Should I accept him as a friend? Nitin sir will say, "Ha, he's a nice person. I know him. We did a this thing conference together. You can add him. I'll add him." So then I know Ramesh ji. Then he's not an unknown person. But if suppose someone says, if suppose Mahesh ji sends me a friend request, I have no mutual friends, I should typically avoid to add him as a friend, because I don't know him, no one else knows him, I don't know why he wants to be my friend. I am not Shah Rukh Khan, so I don't think I want him to be my friend on Facebook. So be very careful about your profile. Be very careful about who you are interacting with, especially if you have kids. Don't allow them to use it unsupervised. That is my advice to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Very valuable advices. Now we'll take a few viewers' questions. We have on screen Mr. Mahesh Chokode. Mr. Mahesh Chokode, please ask your question.
Yes, thank you, speakers, for such valuable information. Um, Sir, though you mentioned about the mechanism, though you encouraged all the viewers to come forward and lodge the complaint, there is a common perception that for cyber frauds, cyber economic frauds having a moderate to lesser value, nothing comes out of lodging complaint. There is a general perception that this system doesn't work. Generally, system discourages people from lodging complaints for smaller or moderate value worth frauds. Is that perception true? And if it is the case, what should police and the communication departments like PIB do to remove that perception? Thank you.
I think that perception is very correct. We are all, like in this particular meeting, also in this webinar, also we are trying to tackle that very perception, that it is better to prevent and be safe than to be coming to the police station to lodge an FIR for a 10,000 rupee fraud. Now, for me, suppose I am the victim of a cyber fraud of 10,000 rupees. I am very hurt because okay, it was a hard-earned money. Like Nitin sir said, it is my hard-earned money. I am feeling my ego is also hurt because some random person has cheated me for 10,000 rupees. I want to get back at him. I want him to be brought to the police station with handcuffs on. So I have that anger. So I'm going to the police station. But how does the police look at it? That is exactly what you have mentioned. The police will look at it as a cyber crime of 10,000 rupees, where I am sitting in Goa, but the accused is sitting in Jamtara. So now that investigation itself will cost the government a lot of money. So, and a lot of effort. Forget about money, a lot of effort. A team will go to Jamtara, they'll go running around people who are sitting in fields, sending messages every day. And there's no guarantee that money will come back, because the banks may also, like the police, the banks may also just avoid a complainant and they say, Are, you should have taken care, and those kind of things. But that is exactly the perception that we are fighting today. That is exactly the reason that we have now established robust mechanisms, that the Ministry of Home Affairs has stepped in at a national level to tackle these things. So what we normally do is, like I said, please report it on 1930 so that at least the money is blocked. Please insist on an FIR so that you can submit that FIR to the bank and tell them that you please refund my money. The bank will say that you shared your OTP, but let me tell all viewers right now that the bank has an insurance system for all accounts. All accounts are insured. So the moment there is a crime in any of the bank accounts, the bank can claim that through insurance. You can register that claim and get the money back. So you should report, and you should insist on an FIR, because the moment you insist on an FIR, the police will be forced to investigate it, forced to find who it is through official, unofficial mechanisms. They will be forced to find that person. So you must report it. It is a new field of crime which has started only in the last 4 5 years. There is some inertia in the police department. There's some inertia in the banks. There's some inertia amongst the people who don't know how to tackle it. So they will be reluctant. But this is the change that we have to make in 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 the next couple of years. We have to make this change. So we have to register it, and most importantly, we have to feel safe, and we have to take preventive measures to ensure that we are not cheated online. We have to be smart like that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. We'll take another viewer question from Mr. Deep. So please
Yeah,
ask your
yes,
question.
yes. Thank you. Thank you. My question is basically that there are lots of websites and apps. Before we uh, use them, often there is a set of terms and conditions. As we are very well aware, oftentimes we don't bother to read through these terms and conditions. They are often long and boring, but at the same time, it is important for us to understand the terms and conditions in order to really understand what we are agreeing to. So, can you, the expert panelists, please suggest what can be a way to make these terms and conditions more accessible, interesting, and really at the same time complying with the legal obligations, so that people really understand what they are getting into before they agree to something. Thank you.
See, these questions. Should I take this, or anyone else will take it?
Yes, sure. Please take it.
So these terms and conditions are basically an agreement between you and the app. The app is basically asking you that I will give you so and so, or the OS, whatever you're downloading, the software is basically asking you, I am going to provide you these services through my app. In return, you have to give me these permissions to use your photos, to use your contacts, to make calls, to send SMS, to see your contact list. So basically, that is the plain speaking language of that agreement. Now, if you agree, they will take all the permissions, and they will view all your data which you've agreed to show them from your phone, from your computers, wherever you've agreed to show them. In return, you can use that app. So basically, that is the agreement between you and the app. If you feel that the app is verified, the app is genuine, please read the app reviews. When you go to Play Store, you will see a lot of apps. There are apps like location services for mobile phones. So when you go to that app, you'll see that it is all 1 star, and people have written it's just an app for advertisement, it's just an app to take your information, and all those kind of things. So then you know that this app is a fake app. It is just going to take your information. Whereas there are some other apps like Truecaller, which will take all your information, but you will still be willing to allow it those permissions. So you have Truecaller. How does Truecaller work? It works because when you download Truecaller on your phone, it goes through all your contacts. So suppose all six of us have Truecaller, and it will have all the contact details from all the phones. And when next time someone calls you, you will know that person's name without his name being saved. But you still allowed Truecaller, right? So more important than knowing the content of the agreement is to know whether you want to download that app, whether that app is genuine, whether it is not a malware app, whether it is not a spyware app. That you will get to know within the review section of that app or that software. So please read the reviews. More important than reading the agreement is that you read the review before you download anything on your phone. If you think it's genuine, please give it permission. If you think that it is going to harm you, then don't download it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we'll take a question from a YouTube viewer, Miss Grace. Okay, so her question is: there are many platforms providing movies and web series which are actually paid content on original platforms. Are these platforms also stealing our data? I think Mr. Ramesh Babu can answer this question, and then we can also have some add-on information from Mr. Shobit or Mr. Balsan, sir?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So when you look at these platforms, right, for them, your data is the real gold, right? So so if you look at if you log into Netflix and you view some uh, crime related, let's say crime related videos, and you log in after 2 days, it will say like these are all the list of shows that you might be interested in. Now, how did they know like I'm interested in this crime related movies? So the reason is like they are taking this data, they are doing analytics on that, and then they are showing you the content. Now, I'm not saying that everything is bad. Like they take those information and give you the related contents, but things go south when they try to grab onto things which are more than what they should do, right? So if you look at some of the apps which our personality said, right? For example, if you look at Truecaller, and it is taking the information from your contact list, but it is giving some service. But if you look at the apps like the phone torch, simple phone torch. Now, what happens is like
I think there's some network issue at Mr. Ramesh Babu's end. So,
why you can do
what?
is
All
you
right, all
go.
right. Yes, we have it back.
So when you go
Yes.
into this when you go into this Netflix or any such Hotstar or any such things, you have information. You can go to settings and privacy information. There might be some information which says like what all data you should be or you are willing to give. So you can either uncheck those informations which you if you don't want. So even if you look at your Windows operating system, you go to that privacy settings of your Windows, it will be collecting a lot of details from you. It will be collecting details on your usage, on app usage, on if any errors has come, like sending those error logs to Microsoft. So a genuine website provider or a genuine app provider will give you tell you upfront what all information is being collected in a pure English manner, not in jargons like the typical agreements which goes into hundreds of pages. Okay, but in a very simple manner, and it will give you choices like to unselect those informations which you don't want. The downside to is that you will not be able to see the contents which you love, because it will all be mixed up, but it's your choice, like how you want to kind of mix and match it.
Okay, thank you. Would Shobit sir or Nitin sir like to add something to it?
I agree with Ramesh ji completely that it is the data that they are after. So there's nothing like a free lunch. If they are giving you something for free, whether you know it or not, they're taking something from you. So my advice, generally practical advice, is that to save any your systems from any kind of spyware, malware, any kind of cyber attacks, or for, like the WhatsApp scam that I just told you about, is please avoid downloading content from platforms which are free, unless they are verified, unless you know that they are genuine platforms. Please avoid it, because you don't know what they're taking from your systems. So be careful about viewing content online which is free.
Thank you. There's a related question from Mr. Swaroop, which says, "Is it safe to use cracked version of softwares? Is it safe to download cracked version of applications from browsers which are for free?" Mr. Ramesh Babu.
I believe I have already informed this during the presentation. Never go and download the cracked versions. Uh, First thing is like actually what is crack? The cracking means nothing, like it's just like they will be patching that original application so that it will first of all disable the anti-tampering provisions within the application. So if someone is trying to tamper the code, the application will not know that. And on top of that, they will be removing the licensing information, which is the typical reason why many people are downloading those. Now what happens is like when you are tampering it and then you are doing a patch you are not knowing like what all other additional stuff you are adding into that binary. So you open that application as a, normal, let's say, antivirus application, but in the background it is downloading some other codes into your computer or running some other process which is giving you access, giving access to that malware user, or converting your system, your computer into a bot network. So you never know. And another one is like, you do a cracked version and you install it, what are updates are coming in from the vendor, you are not going to get it. Means obviously the vendor is not going to give the updates to a pirated version, right? And at the end of the day, they will provision, there will be some way to, kind of block that software. So let's say that you are using a pirated license key, you're not cracking it, but you are using a pirated key and activating the antivirus. So in after 1 week, obviously the vendor will come to know that he will disable your password, means your software, so your antivirus protection is gone. Now the only option you have left is either to buy it or go to that website again, the cracking website again, to get a new key. And now when you're going to that website, you're going there online without any antivirus protection because it's already disabled. This is what the criminals want, to go to visit their website without any protection, so that they can install anything and everything without your knowledge. So please don't do that. If you don't want to spend any money on that premium version of the software, install the genuine free version. So we are having like AVG, which is a free version, right? There are others also which are providing free version. It will not typically have all the premium features, but it's good start. You go there, install it, use it. If you like it, you buy the premium version, but don't use the pirated software. It's not worth the use. Like, you will be trying to save $100, but you will end up spending lakhs.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from Miss Tanvi Karpe. Okay, it's a complaint actually for the police department. ATM fraud was committed with a senior citizen in Goa in February 2020. Complaints were filed with police, concerned bank, and also with RBI. Communications were done for 1.5 years, but no relief has come from their side. So, would you like to give any answer or reply to this?
And definitely, it's unfortunate that that this has happened. If Miss Karpe has not had any communication or any relief, I would advise her that she can call on 112 and leave her details. The cybercrime cell will get in touch with them, and we'll make sure that we'll do whatever we can to help them. The second option is that they can visit the cybercrime cell at Old Goa, and they can give us a fresh reference of their old complaint, and we'll take action on it. So please don't worry if no action has been taken. There, please do come to us again. Call us on 112 or visit the cybercrime cell at Old Goa.
Thank you. I think Ms. Karpi will be much benefited with this advice. Okay, so the next question is from Mr. Pokhare, Mr. S. Pokhare. It's about automatically accessing the OTP in phones, the feature for automatically accessing OTP in phone for which some apps use. Food delivery apps, online shopping, UPI apps now show or allow us to read OTP notification without typing on keyboard. Is that safe to allow that option?
Okay, so this is a feature given by most of the apps now. So it's not like, you're giving them access to read the OTP. It is actually you're giving them to read the entire SMS. So it's not just the OTP they are able to see, but the entire SMS. It's a feature, and obviously, if you what I can say is like, I'm not saying, not going to say that is really bad, because it is useful for some people, but you have to use it carefully. And you are giving only access to that particular application, right? So I believe if you are okay with it, then it is well and good. If you don't want them to read your entire SMS, then obviously, yes, I would ask you to disable that option in that app itself, you and the app permission, and enable them to, you can just type it in. It's when it comes to cybersecurity, it's a balance between how flexible you are, like how easy you want things to be done and how safe you want to go. So yeah, for genuine apps and all, I believe you have an option to either disable or use that feature.
Thank you. And the next question is from Mr. Riaz Babu. How safe is it to keep credit debit card data saved on sites like Amazon, Flipkart, Zomato, etc.? Who would like to take that question? We'll start with Mr. Babu and then take
Yeah. So
the answer from the.
yes. So, as per the guidelines, the new guidelines from RBI, so all the websites which are using this platform means using or handling the credit card information or any card information, they have to follow some guidelines. So one of them is like they have to encrypt the entire information, and they cannot save the CVV numbers. Some sites they do keep that. The expiry numbers and all. So what I suggest is like if you want, again, if you want it to be very easy, then you can go ahead and keep that information in the site itself. But for others who genuinely want to keep themselves safe, you can enter it every time. And another feature most of the banks give is like you have an option to set how many rupees you have to want to transfer per day. There is a transaction limit on per day. I want to transfer only 25,000 rupees, and per transaction I want to spend a max of 5,000 rupees. And again, for the swipe in, that Wi-Fi which users call the near field communication or Wi-Fi, for that also you have option to give the transfer limit. So I would suggest that if you are using any if you are using your credit card or ATM card for any online transaction or purchasing on the stores, enable this feature. Okay, you disable the international ones if you're not using it, and for the domestic one you enable this feature that you want to spend only max of 10,000 or per transaction 5,000, whatever you want, and then you give this information. So the reason is if something really bad happens, at least you are losing only that amount of amount, and you will not be in a dire financial situation. So yeah, I'll
Thank
give
you.
it.
Uh, Thank you, sir. The next, we have another question, a very important question from Mr. Riaz Babu. Is it fine to give mobile number and emails at commercial outlets? Almost every showroom asks for your phone number and email for billing. Is it mandatory to provide the information to them? Mr. Nitin, sir, would you like to take this question?
I would advise not giving the information, but it's a personal choice. It's a balance between like to share your sensitive information or to be a loyal customer to the brand. It all depends upon the brand or the place from where you buy. But what happens, though the company is very good, though you can expect safety that they won't share the information, you can't completely rely on their employees. Nowadays, there are fraudsters who give money to the employees who have access to this data for some money. For example, if there is an important, very, very famous shirt brand, you are giving the mobile number, you are giving your date of birth, you are giving your email ID. You are expecting this is a very famous brand and this they will not share this. They will even they will send you some mail saying some mails and SMS saying that there are some offers. But the person who is employed there, he can be approached by a fraudster. So you don't know how can you rely on that person, or you so or not for that person. The person who is clear keeping the database of this information, though he is bound by the laws, you don't know, you are not very sure about his character, and he may be approached by a fraudster and he may be given some 50,000 rupees or 40,000 rupees. He is not going to lose anything. He is just sharing some information. He doesn't know like what is the importance of this information. You are giving the mobile number, you are giving the date of birth. For some of the places where you have forgotten your password, the hint question might be your date of birth. hint question might be something which is very well, which is information you have given to it. So it's up to you, like how confident you are and how you are going to deal. But I would advise it is it is not it is not a good thing if you are sharing their information, because this can be used by fraudsters.
There's one last question from Mr. Deepak. He's asking whether the police department employs any technology to keep communications from fraudsters, means blocking communications from fraudsters. And I think that is what he wants to ask. Is there no way to block communications from fraudsters automatically by the experts of cybercrime department? So,
Block communication from cybercrime department.
from
Block
fraudsters,
communication.
by the cybercrime department. I think that is what.
So I think, like we have been discussing so far, the telecom operator provides you that facility to block communication, and it is if suppose some so suppose if you want to block out messages which are from commercial enterprises which you don't want to see, then you can contact telecom service provider. They will block that message or that group of message or commercial message. There's a do not disturb facility which is always available, so you can avail of it. If it is communication which is unwelcome and which is from a person who is harassing you, and it is so that kind of communication is actually criminal, a criminal offense. So immediately you can, if it is on a social media website like Facebook or something, you can immediately report that profile on Facebook for that abusive content which you are getting. And if suppose you still don't get any respite, you can approach the cybercrime department. The cybercrime department deals with it in two ways. The first way is that it immediately writes to that platform on which you are getting that abusive content or that unwelcome message, to stop that account. So that is the first thing we do. The second thing we do is we ask for details of the person who's sending it, and we try to track that person. So if you are not able to get respite from your telecom operator or the platform or the social media app to protect you from unwelcome messages, please approach the cybercrime police station in your jurisdiction and tell them about it, so that they can write to that concerned application or the platform to block that content. And if it is really abusive and forms a crime, we will arrest that person. That's how it works.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So now we have come to the end of this knowledge sharing session on how to stay safe online. Okay, so undoubtedly the discussions have been very enriching. I'm sure it has made all the participants of this webinar aware of what methods are used by cybercrime operators to entrap innocent, unsuspecting people, and how to stay online. I think every expert speaker has given a lot of tips on how to stay safe online. So I would like to first thank our expert speakers, IPS officers, Mr. Nitin Valsan, Mr. Shobit Saxena, and I would like to thank all in the police department who are working hard, to keep the citizens safe. Maybe all cases cannot be do not get cracked, but then obviously we are safe. We are safe because of the law enforcement agencies. Thanks to both of you who represent the police department. Mr. Ramesh Babu, thank you for giving us knowledge about how the technologies are designed to prevent cyber crimes. You've also given us a lot of valuable tips. We owe a thanks to all the engineers and the technical persons and the technologists who are working hard to ensure common citizens remain safe online. I would like to extend thanks to Joint Director of PIB Panji, Mr. Vinod Kumar, for conceptualizing this online knowledge sharing session on remaining safe online, which is for the benefit of people, and guiding the entire team who have worked for this webinar. Thank you, sir. Thanks to Field Publicity Officer, Regional Outreach Bureau, Panji, Mr. Riaz Babu, for all the coordination works and the groundworks done to make sure this knowledge sharing session reaches out to as many people as possible. Means that has always been a goal of Press Information Bureau, and I think Mr. Riaz Babu has really worked hard for that. We owe him a big thanks. The entire technical team of PIB, Mr. Chandrasekhar, Mr. Swarup Ukhare, with the technical and the production team who have managed the show behind the scene. Ms. Vijay Rane of PIB Panji, who has worked as a coordinator again behind the screen. We owe a big thanks to you too, Vijaya. Last but not the least, we owe a big thanks to all the participants of this webinar. Such knowledge sharing sessions are organized by Press Information Bureau, are meant to reach out to the general public and all, so that they can gather authentic information from the right people, you know. So without the participants and our audience, the purpose of organizing this very webinar wouldn't have been served, and the questions raised from your end have been very, very beneficial for everyone. So thank you all. Now we have come to the end of this show. Thank you.
Thank you.